Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Paula and today we are inside my YouTube studio. Well, to start off with this video we are not actually inside my YouTube studio as unfortunately I'm currently on a business trip or work trip sitting in my hotel room. But this is where I do YouTube videos right now, so it's kind of my studio, right? This is a tag video originally created by Living Lux with Meredith, and she got the inspiration from inside the actor's studio, which for me, not living in a country where this is at any way known, or at least for me, this was the first time I'm hearing about it. It's like a concept where an interviewer asks the actors 25 questions, the same questions all over and over again, so that we have the same questions and then we just hear different answers depending on the person who's interviewed. This is how far I've understood. And I loved the concept that she modified this a bit to fit the YouTube world, so that, because we are only talking about bags and fashion and all of that, so to actually get a bit behind of who we are outside handbags. And I think that is really great. So if you're not familiar with Meredith's channel, I would highly suggest you check it out, because she has an amazing collection of everything pretty much. So for all the handbag lovers, it's definitely like a really eye-pleasing place to be. I was tagged by two people to do this. Firstly, by Eva and also Mary. And I will link both of these channels as well as Meredith's original video down in the description box in case you got curious, you want to see more, and familiarize yourself with their channels as well, even though most likely you might have heard of them before. And this concept has 25 questions, but I have to be honest here that some of them are quite tricky, and as English is not my native language, answering questions such as what is my favorite word, it might not be that interesting if it is a word in my native language, where I was just thinking that it might not bring the most value if everyone doesn't understand what I'm talking about. So I was just blindly or bravely thought that I would borrow Mary's wonderful concept of actually choosing a few questions to answer from this list. I love that she had this excuse of she's not familiar with this concept, so she can twist it a bit, and I'm just gonna tag her along with that. So I'm gonna answer 5 questions out of the 25, the ones that I feel might be the most interesting, or that I actually have something to say, because some of them are actually really hard. And I have to, before I actually answer any one of those questions, I have to lift that it actually made me very happy. Like, even though I just said that Finnish is my native language, probably no one knows anything about Finland or whatever is happening over here. And then Eva actually decided to introduce Darude Sandstorm. That is important to her. And Darude is actually a Finnish DJ, so that was a very positive thing. But all in all, I'm pretty sure that no one knows anything about Finland or Finnish artists or Finnish words or anything related. So I think that's not maybe that interesting. After that rambly start, I think we should go to the first question. And that is how to celebrate big events or achievements in your life. And I'm like, if I'm completely honest, I've always been the person who loves gifts. I'm not interested in parties. I don't want to be the center of attention. I haven't like thrown any type of birthday parties in years. When I turned 30, I just it was the year when we got married, and I had my bachelorette party like maybe a few weeks before my birthday. So I was just like, well, this works. I would have invited pretty much the same people if I would have had any type of birthday party. So I'm like, good enough. So when there is a big achievement and such, so I'm not the one who throws parties and speeches and all of that. I'm more into gifts in general, and how I've like when I was a kid. I mean, which kid doesn't love presents? But it has kind of continued in a way that now that I'm an adult, whenever I succeed in my work life or if something major happens, I want to celebrate it by buying something that reminds me of that. And so if it's like when I got my university educations or degrees, that was like big achievements for me, doing 2 master's degrees by basically working full time at that time as well. And like that, I just did it by myself, and I was just so proud of that. So definitely that is something that I do. So I buy gifts, and I do the same with others. When my husband, for instance, succeeds or anyway has birthday, Christmas or whatever, I love buying gifts to him or my family, and that's just how it is. So I would say big achievements and celebrations, I do it with gifts. Then, second question, who or what inspires me in my everyday life? And I would say kind of it's a combination of who and what. So I grew up with 2 parents who had both their own businesses, so a very entrepreneur environment. And how I saw how our life worked was that my parents worked a lot for what we had. And I'm not saying we didn't have anything. I had a very lovely middle class or what's that, average income life. But the role models that I had were that if you want something in life, you need to work for it. Like nothing is handed to you for free. And that is definitely something I've noticed that has impacted and that inspires me also in my own life right now. So it's not necessarily one person, or then I might just say my mom, because I don't know if this sounds weird, but I really relate to her in a way, more because she's a woman who had her own business or has it still for decades now. And she's done it all by herself, quite successfully, to the point where when I was young, nothing was missing for me, like maybe a pony or whatever. So actually like nothing, truly. Maybe hopefully you got that as a joke. So nothing was missing. I was like, I had all that I needed and then some. And the kind of, I saw how she worked for that. And that inspires me as well now as an adult, to actually just work for what I want to achieve in life. And of course I have some materialistic goals, who wouldn't? But also I've had that type of role model where if you work hard, it will pay off in the end or at some point of life. And I really that's kind of what keeps me going, and that's what motivated me to truly focus on my studies and to do 2 separate master's degrees. One would be enough, but I wanted to like back me up for the future. So I would say that inspires me, the whole concept of knowing that we ourselves are responsible for for our own life. And if there are certain things that you want to achieve, you want to work, you need to work for it. And that inspires me and keeps me going. What traits or attributes attracts me to other people? I think of like personality traits that attract me to people, and this is of course something that goes both for romantic side as well as then like friendship side. So I would say like the first thing that is really important to me, that if they are authentically themselves, because in that way I can also be authentically myself, and that's really important. Then sense of humor might be not really the right way to describe this, but just like witty in general with how they are in social situations. So I'm not saying that people should just be like jokes after jokes, but it's more like the everyday humor where maybe witty might be the correct word here. So I've always been attracted to people who are funny in a way, who can find humor in everyday situations and are good with words, because laughter for me is super important. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to be like a comedian or something, but that has just been something that I am attracted to, if someone is good with words in a funny way. So definitely that is something that I am attracted to in people in general. Then I would say being reliable is 100% important. I have difficulties in like truly opening up. Someone might even say like trust issues, I don't know. But I'm very guarded when I meet new people, and actually just like letting them in to my soul. That sounded weird. But that takes time. So being able to trust someone I value that highly. And the same obviously goes with me. So I want to be a trustworthy person. So it's like a mutual thing. But yeah, those three, I would say, like authenticity in a way that they are who they are and I can be who I am. And then like I don't know, witty people who I can trust. So that's kind of what type of attributes attract me. Fourth question would then be 5 adjectives that describe me. I would say definitely organized. I am very much into like making to-do lists, and at work I love deadlines in a way that I want to do everything before the deadline is even close. I'm like very much planning my way of doing things. At our home, there needs to be some kind of organization. I'm not saying that I am always putting everything back to where they belong, but everything needs to have their own place. So when I get this like mental state of I need to like clean here, everything needs to have their own space. Like it's just, I can't handle unorganized way of being anyway. So that is definitely one trait that I have. I'm also very ambitious. So I have had like very big career goals for as long as I remember, and I've worked really hard to get where I am. Work has been always important to me. And when I was in school, doing well there has always been important to me. So I'm always kind of thinking like, what's the next step of where I want to go and how I need to pursue there and what I need to do and so on. So I am very, very much an ambitious person. Thirdly, I would say that I am very sensitive in both good and bad. So if you would ask from my husband, he would probably say that it's not really always a positive thing that I am very sensitive. So I might get like not insulted, but I might feel bad from quite small things, and it might be just like a tone of voice or or something like that. So it's not always a positive thing to be sensitive. But that's just what I am. I'm also very easily like crying. I can watch TV commercials and I might cry. If I see someone else crying, I might like tear up. I'm very, very sensitive in a way, and like I see it more as picking up on others' feelings, and kind of then maybe reflecting them on myself. And that's also sometimes also quite hard in my social relationships if I'm also then carrying the other person's sad feelings in a way. But yeah, definitely a sensitive person. Fourth, it's kind of connected to sensitivity, but I have quite a lot of empathy. So is that empathetic then the word? So I've always been good at relating to other people's feelings, and the work that I do, which is 100% with people, that trait is a very, very important one there to help me navigate in my work. But it's easy for me to relate to other people's situations and feelings. And because of the sensitivity side, sometimes I kind of take them on myself, which is not such a good thing, but that's how it is. So yeah, that would definitely be the fourth one. And then fifth one, I would maybe go then with that I am a mixture of introvert and extrovert. So I feel like I am more an introvert. Like the personality in me is definitely an introvert. And in my case, I'm not saying that I don't love spending time with people or something, but when I am with people, even though I would have the best time, social situations tend to like take energy from me, and I gain energy back when I'm alone. So I need that type of like quiet time, just being with myself. And that's when I kind of load my own batteries and gain my energy level back, so that I'm once again able to be with people. And I think that with certain extroverts, for instance, it's just the opposite. So they feel the most comfortable when they are around other people, and they get energy from the social situations. And some might not be that happy when they are alone, but like I personally love being alone, spending some time alone. And like when when I first started dating my husband, it was quite an interesting way to try to explain to him that I actually need some time alone, and that it's nothing on him, and he shouldn't take it personally if I preferred on some evenings just to be by myself, and not with him. And luckily he didn't take it as an insult or anything, but I can imagine that it's not easy for everyone to hear that someone who they are dating prefers sometimes to be alone instead of with them. But yeah, so that's definitely, I would say, I'm an introvert by heart, but then like also my work is very social, and I do enjoy social situations. So that's kind of the extroverted side of me, but majority of who I am is more of an introvert, if that's made any sense. And the final question, I'm gonna go with what sound or noise do I hate? And I have to say, when Mary pointed out that when her husband sneezes, that she hates that, and it's pretty close with me as well. So my husband sneezes, it's very like suddenly and super loud, and it's yeah. But when I was thinking of like what annoys me the most, like the sound or noise in my life, and it actually, like, this sounds probably really bad or silly, but it is when people make like eating noises, so like that. Hopefully you could hear it. So when people are eating and then they are chewing and I can hear the chewing sound, I don't know what it is, but it actually makes me like cringe. Like I don't know why. It's so strange, but that's just how it is. And it has like come to the point where we are, for instance, eating with my husband. I'm not that annoyed with my own chewing sounds, naturally. So when we are eating together, I'm also like hearing my own. So his chewing sounds are like not that, I don't hear it that well. But when, for instance, he's eating just something by himself, or I've already finished eating, and then the only thing I hear is his chewing sound, it gets me like so tense. And I don't even know how to explain this, and I might be completely a freak and alone, but like especially some like carrots or something that makes a very loud noise and you need to chew a lot of that just like I don't like that sound. Or maybe I would go to the point where I hate that sound, but I just need to learn to live with that, don't I? Because everyone needs to eat, and this is a weird thing. And yeah, it's but it's just, I can't. It's a terrible sound. Those were the 5 questions and my answers to them. Thank you so much, Meredith, for creating this tag and allowing us to share a bit more about ourselves. And special thanks to Eva and Mary for tagging me. It was such a great thing to listen to your answers, and thank you for giving me this opportunity as well. I am super bad at like usually tagging anyone. I feel that this has also been going around quite a lot. So if you haven't done this yet and feel like this would be fun, I will put the questions into the description box, and you just take it and consider yourself tagged by me. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.